Their names have been changed in this book to protect their privacy. They were sold in multiple cities and sometimes multiple states. They suffered long-term consequences and scars that will never heal. Those who escaped sex trafficking continue to suffer physically and mentally, struggling to overcome fear, anxiety, and sometimes drug addiction. And some victims of sex trafficking do not survive. To be clear, Backpage never made any aspect of their lives safer. Backpage increased their suffering exponentially, made it harder to escape, and made more money for their traffickers. After the shutdown of Backpage, instances of sex trafficking decreased. While other websites have emerged or expanded, there is no longer a centralized site where the sale of children is normalized. Those who choose to engage in commercial sex work are just as deserving of law enforcement protection as the countless victims who are trapped in it. Research shows there are numerous health risks associated with engaging in commercial sex, which correlates with violence and homicide rates higher than those for the general public. Sex workers should not be stigmatized, ignored, or deterred from seeking justice. But that is a different book. The focus of this book is sex trafficking victims and at-risk children who have been sexually abused, and what we did to stop it. 1. The Motel. I took my seat in court with a stack of color-coded files. Each one contained a police report, a rap sheet, and a complaint charging the defendant with violating some specific section of the California Penal Code. Green files were DUIs. Purple were regular misdemeanors like bar fights or shoplifting or the occasional illegal cockfight. Red were domestic violence. I was sorting through them, attempting to match the order of my stack with the order on the court's December 7th, 2004 calendar sheet, so that I would be ready when the judge came out and began calling the arraignment names. If he called a name and I was not ready with the file, he would become impatient and make a dramatic scene about having to wait for me. The court's calendar was loosely alphabetical, except that there were add-ons. Add-ons were extra names that had been added to the end of the calendar. Half the calendar turned out to be the extra names, so there I was, furiously sorting so that I would not be fumbling through folders when the judge came out of his chambers and took the bench. I was the prosecutor. My job was to seek justice on behalf of the people of the state of California, county of San Joaquin, and also to organize the color-coded files. Each of my files contained a story about a person who made a choice, or a series of choices, that resulted in harm to another person and a law being violated. My job was to ensure that the individual responsible for the crime was held accountable, to insist on fairness, and to empower the victim. Every morning, typically wearing a crisp-ironed white button-down shirt, a black skirt and jacket set, pearls, and heels, I kissed my boyfriend, Carrie Huxell, goodbye, and traveled about 50 miles through thick Central Valley fog from Sacramento to Stockton, San Joaquin County's seat. I was only 25 years old, but I was tasked with decisions that would impact people for the rest of their lives, and I was trying to look at least 30 while doing it. Just as I finished arranging the files, the judge took the bench. As the metal door on the side of the courtroom was closing, I saw a cluster of defendants in orange jumpsuits hovering by the door and peering into the courtroom. The bailiff now had to call them into the courtroom one at a time, in calendar order. After the bailiff and the court clerk consulted, the judge announced that he would be calling the in-custody female defendants first. This, of course, through my ordering system.